Hello, this is Brian again. Someone on the Shapr3d user group, Paul Bryans, I guess, asked, I'm saying I guess because I'm not sure if that's pronounced the last name, but that's what it is, asked after I posted my sphere video if he could make a sphere made up of rings like this. This is the screenshot he posted, and yes, you can, which is pretty cool that you can do this easily, and I will show you how easily you can do it. So, let's see here. So this is for reference. This takes a little bit of fiddling. So I'm going to say, yeah, okay, let's make that a smaller circle. Okay, and then, yeah, and then what I want to do is I want to say, I want to create one that's, wait, hold on. I got it. So it's a little nitpicky in that, okay, that's 50. So I think that means I want this to be 6. I'm going to say 10. We'll do that. Okay, so that one, and then I'm going to move that in the center. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to move these this way to get this off. You'll see why in a minute. I did it that way just so everything stayed nice and centered. And then I'm going to go back to the front. I should have probably done the bisecting line first, but whatever. So I'm going to create this. Oh, actually, I need to create another circle. This may be on the wrong line. Okay, there you go. So I'm going to make a shell first. So I'm going to revolve. Boom. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, I'm going to select these lines. I'm going to project onto here. Then, no, that's not what I do. I tried the projection before and it didn't work as well because what I was going to do is project and rotate around, but that gets a little wonky. So I'm actually going to extrude. And then when I get through here, what I'm actually going to do, since this would cut a hole in the shell, I'm going to select the new object type thing, and then just have, instead of subtract, I'm going to hit intersect. So then I have this fancy little slightly curved ring. And then I am going to, so what you can do with Shapr is when you're rotating, if I want to rotate this just this, but what I can do is I can adjust by dragging the circle in the middle, I can adjust the rotation point. So I can say like, oh, I want to rotate it from here. And that's not helpful in this case, except I can snap to the center of where the shell was. So if I rotate it, it goes all the way into the shell and everything. So that's pretty handy. And I'm going to hit copy. And then what I'm first going to do actually is, so you need an even number of rings for this to really work, which I'm going to, so 30. So, okay, so they roughly intersect. You could chamfer or fillet them or whatever, but just for this, I'm going to keep them as pretty static. And so then I'm going to go 60, I say 90. Oops, why am I not doing that? 60. Oops. Oh, I see. Okay. It snaps to the center. That's the one thing. This is a nice feature, but then it doesn't remember when you change the positional offset, so you have to do it each time, which is kind of annoying. And while this copy thing is really nice. Oh, actually, what am I doing? This is how I did it the first time to see how it would work, and that's silly because I can actually do a radial pattern. So I'm going to have there's a pattern here, and I can select linear or circular. And I select circular, which I did because I did this before recording, and I want to have 12 of them, I believe. And then this way, and then I have 12 of them. Boom, so that's that. I'm not going to cut the other part out because there are a few different ways you could do it. This is just significantly more efficient. So I'm going to select these 4 because they're pretty easy. Now the center point happens to be in the center because they're all around the center, so that's convenient for this. And I want to do 60 and then 120. And then for these ones, because they have about the same they would travel the same distance, right? Because, you know, spheres are wonky. They're fun. So that one I think is right. Well, let me see. There's a lot of eyeballing to this. Boom, and then boom, and then boom, and then that should be, so there's a bit of a gap there. But so is there a gap in some of the places in this one? There's a big gap kind of in the center here. There's little pieces, so it's not perfectly even, which I think makes it a pretty good copy of this. And then, excuse me, then you take these two. There might be an even more efficient way to do this, but so this is, I guess I actually could have done the circular pattern for this one, but I've now started to not do it. And then there. And so I'm going to turn off the sketch plane so you can see. Now some of them might not be, like this one, you could probably adjust a little. I mean, it would be the same in the other case. But sometimes to adjust it, you would, like in the centerpiece, is that right? Well, I guess I need that sketch plane back on. So the sketch plane, actually I'm going to turn the sketch plane back on so that I can actually make sure I'm getting the right alignment point, because I want it to be there. So then what I could do is I could rotate it. The snaps by 5, so I'm just going to put like 2. And then, you know, I can, on this one, I can say like 1. And then, you know, you can do that and all you like. But yeah, that's the sort of basis of it. So you could also, instead of rotating it, I could say, well, this one I could, you know, this one here, if I don't like the way that it's not touching things, I could, you know, I could scale it up a little bit and it would start to look a little wonky. But you know, you play around with it. And then these gaps should be fine as long as it touches enough pieces. So like, even though this piece and this piece, they don't touch, this piece touches this one, which touches that one, and there should be no pieces that aren't touching any of their neighbors. But if there are, you can just, you know, rotate it or adjust the positioning with scaling or whatever. So, but yeah, that's how you very quickly make, or reasonably quickly, make a circle, a sphere of rings. This is heaven for Sonic, I guess.